Welcome to Thriller Recaps. Today, I am explaining the movie Deep Water, explaining every scene as it happens. The movie begins with Melinda and Vic, who went upstairs to dress for the event they had later that night. Melinda asked for Vic's help in choosing an outfit, then she told him that she loves him while he was helping her with her shoes. At the event, Melinda saw Joel in the crowd and ran to meet him. They talked for a while, then went to the backyard where a few people were gathered around the pool. Vic looked through the window. He saw Melinda and Joel kissing. Then Melinda saw him, but he was just looking at them. Mary walked up to Vic, then she noticed Joel and Melinda dancing together. She told him that she thinks they're but Vic said they were just friends, and it doesn't bother him. Mary acknowledged that she knows he loves Melinda, but they don't want him looking like a fool with her. Someone came to tell Vic that Melinda was drunk and dancing on the piano. So he went to be with her. Vic went to get a drink at the bar when he met Joel. Joel thanked him for how he and his wife had been nice to him, and that he doesn't have any problem with him seeing his wife. Vic asked if Joel had heard of a man named Martin McRae who went missing at a time. He told Joel Martin was beginning to see his wife too much, so he killed him. Joel initially did not believe him, but seeing how serious Vic looked, he decided to walk out. Melinda followed him on his way out, talking to him, but he told her that he would call her later and left. Vic helped Melinda to the car as she was drunk, then she asked him what he said to Joel to make him seem off after their talk, but he told her that he didn't say anything to him. When they got to the house, Vic was paying the babysitter while Melinda came out half naked to make coffee. Vic cautioned her, and then she complained about how suffocating American culture is. Vic helped her get comfortable in bed, then he asked her why she always chooses to be with dumb people. She replied that Joel makes her feel herself around him, which turns her on even if he is dumb. The next morning, after dropping their daughter off at school, a woman joked about Vic killing Martins. He told her that it was a joke and asked who told her. She said she heard it from neighbors. Vic's friends also told him about it, and then they told him to try to tame Melinda as she has been having too many affairs and rubbing it in his face. When he got home, Melinda was angry about the Martins' gossip, and Vic apologized, but she said he had to apologize to Joel too, whom she had already invited to dinner, as he planned to leave town on Saturday. Vic welcomed Joel, and he gave Trixie a drink to give to him. They had dinner together. Joel had grilled cheese. He told them that he got a job in Mexico, and Melinda suggested that they could visit him later. Melinda tried his grilled cheese and complimented it. Vic mentioned that Melinda had mac and cheese for their first date, and he realized she did that to make room for alcohol. Melinda replied that he made her feel terrible about it, and sometimes she wished he was normal. Vic retorted that Joel would not be having dinner with them if he wasn't normal. Melinda told Trixie to go to bed and make sure her dad reads a bedtime story to her completely. After the bedtime story, Trixie asked her dad why Melinda acts differently around other people, and that she doesn't like Joel. Vic came downstairs and heard Melinda moaning, so he went to the kitchen angrily. Melinda came out after having fun and gave him a drink to give to Joel while she left them alone. When Vic gave Joel the drink, Joel told him that he owed him an apology for telling him that he killed Martin. Vic admitted that he truly killed him with a hammer. Then he told Joel that the Uber he ordered for him was waiting outside. During a festival, an older man, who introduced himself as a conspiracy writer, asked Vic what he does. Vic told him that he used to build drone ships, but now he just rides his bike around and spends time with his daughter. The man clarified that he made drones used to kill people, but Vic replied that it can be used to locate and deliver food to starving children. When the man heard his name, he said that he heard that Vic killed Martin, but everyone replied that it was a joke. Melinda was dancing with Trixie, then Vic asked Kelly Wilson to dance with him. Everyone was surprised to see Vic dancing, so they watched him. On their way home, Melinda asked if he wants Kelly and if he thought she'd be better than her. Then she said she could get them both killed if he thought so. They both had when they got home, and then they went to watch Trixie's school game the next day. Vic got a call that a check for $3,000 was issued to Mr. Charlie Delisle from Melinda's account for piano lessons. He called many lounges and bars to find out if Charlie played there. Finally, he found Charlie and attended one of his shows. Then he saw Melinda walk in to sit close to Charlie, staring at him. When Vic got home, he saw that Melinda had left her ring in the bathroom. Then he heard news that they had found Martin's body in the woods with bullet wounds. Melinda came back drunk. She told Vic that she was hanging out with a new friend, and she can't remember what they did, but she had fun. Vic informed her that Martin's body had been found. She got angry and went inside. The next day, Vic and Trixie went to get a dog. Trixie asked if her mom was okay on their way back, and Vic replied that she was just sad because of her friend. Then he saw Charlie walking with flowers in his hands. When Vic got home, he saw the flowers on the dining table, with Melinda drinking heavily. Vic met with his friend at a lounge where Charlie plays. His friend was happy that they caught Martin's murderer, as it would take out rumors about Vic killing him. Vic complimented Charlie and told his friend that he was Melinda's piano teacher. Melinda and spent the whole night with Charlie. When she came back, Vic asked her where she had been throughout the night and why she had issued a check for $3,000 to a certain Charlie. She told him that she could give him details of all she did if he wanted to know. Vic reminded her that they have a child and family together, but she replied that that was what he wanted, not her, and that his life is very boring. A house party was going on in their house with their friends over, playing games and having fun. Charlie walked in, and Melinda stopped the music to introduce him to everyone. Then she asked him to play the piano. Everyone was dancing to what Charlie was playing. Melinda went to Vic and rubbed herself against him. After Charlie finished playing, Melinda introduced him to Vic. Later, Vic was looking for Melinda and Mary told him to check upstairs. Vic saw Melinda and Charlie coming out of a room with Melinda dressed in a swimsuit. He watched them swimming together with others in the pool, playing together and almost kissing in Vic's presence. It started raining so everyone ran inside, leaving Vic and Charlie in the pool. Vic looked at him in disgust. Everyone was in the kitchen waiting for the cookies to get ready. Mary told Vic that if he ever felt like dancing with someone like he did with Kelly, he could call her. Melinda didn't see Charlie among others, so she went out to check on him. Then she saw him drowning in the pool and screamed. Everyone ran out to help him. Vic administered CPR while someone called 911. Melinda became angry that Vic was not doing it right and pushed him away. Charlie was taken away dead while the others were questioned by the police. Everyone testified that he was drunk, and they didn't really notice him when they were leaving the pool. Melinda told the police that it was Vic that killed him. Everyone tried to shun her, but she wouldn't back down. Then an officer took her for questioning privately. After a while, the officer called for Vic. The writer in the neighborhood asked to speak to the officers privately as well. The officer asked Vic if his wife had an affair with Charlie, but Vic responded that he does not ask his wife those kinds of questions. Vic explained that when he was leaving with Grant, he saw Charlie at the far end of the pool and he did not know he was not a great swimmer. So, he went inside and tried to steal cookies and he showed the officer his burned hand. The officers left and everyone went to their various houses. Vic asked Melinda if she wanted a divorce since she thinks he was the one that killed Charlie, which may make her frightened of him. She responded that she was not frightened because she was the thing he killed for. Vic went riding his bicycle in the morning. He remembered how he pushed Charlie, and he struggled before he gave up. Then he noticed a car following him and waited for it to go ahead. Vic dropped Trixie in school, and when he was leaving, Kelly came to meet him and told him that her husband has been spreading rumors that he killed Charlie. So, he told her that he'll invite her and her husband for dinner. When they came for dinner, Vic took her husband, Don, to his snail house. He told him about snails and told him to stop spreading rumors because it was affecting his wife's reputation. Don asked if he would be willing to take the lie detector test, and Vic agreed. Vic was walking by a walkway when he saw the car that was following him during his morning ride. Then he looked inside and saw a camera. Next, he saw Melinda and a man in a restaurant and went to meet them. The man introduced himself as a psychotherapist, and his name is David. Vic asked if his wife has schizophrenic tendencies, and Melinda asked if Vic looked like a psychopath. Then David laughed and offered them a couple sessions, but Vic replied that he had other places to be. Vic asked for David's card, but David said he was not with any. Then Vic said he knew where to find him and left. Vic went to Kelly and Don's house. He accused Don of hiring a private investigator to monitor him, and how the investigator was pretending to be a psychotherapist while hanging out with his wife. When Don denied it, Vic showed him evidence of his wife sending about $700 to his account. Kelly apologized on behalf of his husband, then Vic left. Vic monitored Melinda. He saw her dressed up to meet a man, and then they walked down the street like two lovebirds. Vic was helping Trixie in the bath. Then she asked him how he killed Charlie because most of her friends were asking. Vic told her he didn't kill him because if he did he'll be locked up in prison forever. Trixie replied that she knew he was lying about it, and he told her to keep it between the two of them. Vic heard Melinda talking to someone over the phone about Brazil, and how she had never been there. The man Vic saw with Melinda earlier came to meet Vic in his snail house. He introduced himself as Tony, an old friend of Melinda. He and Vic went inside and told Vic about his project of building LEED-certified housing both in the state and Brazil. Melinda came out to greet him. Then she told Vic that Tony was the first American man she but he broke her heart. Tony tried to caution her, but she replied that Vic was not like normal men who'd control her. Then Tony commended Vic for putting up with her as her husband. Tony suggested that they cook some snails, but Vic replied that the snails are not for eating. Tony pushed further, and Melinda agreed to go get some. Then Vic told them that they had to starve the snails before cooking them, otherwise, they'd be poisonous if cooked with food particles in their intestines, so they dropped the snail topic. They had dinner together. Melinda and Tony danced to some music after, then they went upstairs together. Vic followed them and saw Melinda undressing. She saw him, then he left. Vic drove to meet Tony on the road. He told him that Melinda had been trying to reach him because she wanted to show him their site. So he told Tony to get into the car. Vic asked Tony why he broke up with Melinda. Tony replied that he couldn't remember. Vic started driving roughly. Tony became scared and wanted to call Melinda, but there was no service in the woods. Vic parked, so Tony came down looking for Melinda, then Vic threw a stone at his head. He threw another one while he was still staggering, which made him fall backward down a hill, hitting his head badly on a rock. Vic went down to him, tied heavy rocks to his body, took out his wallet, and then pushed him deep into the river. When he got home with the dog, he met Melinda and Trixie playing. Then he told Melinda that he likes Tony because he has brains. Vic poured wine for Trixie and told her they were celebrating. Melinda couldn't reach Tony, so she asked Vic about him, but he replied that he didn't hear from him. Later, Trixie told Vic that she and Melinda were going for a picnic at the gorge, and Melinda invited him to come with them. It was the same area where he killed Tony. When they got to the gorge, Melinda asked why he was the only man willing to stay with her forever and if he wasn't bored. Then he replied that he wasn't. He also asked her if she was bored. She replied that she was sad instead. Vic gave her a photo magazine, which includes her pictures that Vic took when they just started together. Melinda thanked him. Then Vic heard Trixie close to the river and went to pick her up. On their way back home, Melinda realized that she had forgotten her scarf, so Vic told her he'd get it for her the next morning. At night, Melinda told Vic that he could sleep in her room. Then they had The next morning, Vic rode his bicycle to the gorge, while Melinda was looking for him when she woke up. She went to his snail house, and then she saw Tony's wallet inside one of his snail boxes. Vic got to the gorge and saw that Tony's body was floating in the water. He was pushing him back inside with a stick when Don came around and asked him what he was doing. Vic replied that he was looking for Melinda's scarf. Then Don showed him the scarf and started coming towards him, asking him what he was doing with the stick in the water. Don saw Tony's hand shooting up from the water, then he ran to his car, hurriedly drove off, and shouted that Vic would go to jail. Vic followed him with his bike, then followed a shortcut. Don started texting his wife, then his phone fell. He bent to pick it up, and when he looked up, he saw Vic on the floor in front of him and dodged to the other side. Then his car somersaulted into the river. Melinda packed her suitcase to leave. When Trixie saw it, she took the suitcase and threw it into the pool. Then she told Melinda that she cannot go anywhere. When Vic got home, he found Melinda by the stairs watching him. Then she told him that she found Tony. Melinda burned Tony's ID card later that night.